The moment he stood up to enter my office, I knew. I've heard that name. Funny how over time, all one seems to remember is a person's nickname. The full name? It sounds as unfamiliar as the years we've spent apart. So, he's finally back in the country, back in town, applying for a job at the company I work for. Talk about coincidence! Is it coincidence? It must be. How could he even know I work here? It's been years. He probably doesn't remember. Gosh, he remembers me. Nobody flashes those pearly whites with confidence at a job interview. Or maybe he's just confident, practiced. My, you sure look the same way you did back in college. But you've really amped up your charm. He must have noticed how quiet I've been. I stopped for a bit, browsing through his resume. Yeah, it is him. I should have noticed. The same high school, the same college as mine. Look at him and smile. Best to pretend not to know him, even if he broke my heart years ago. I've moved on. I've had 3 other boyfriends after him. And currently, I'm happily single. I'm strong, independent, and technically, he shouldn't count. I mean, come on! We were freshmen when we... He's just applying for a job, that's all. I'm just going to see if he's qualified, that's all. His crisp, well-ironed, white long sleeves, plain black tie has nothing to do with our history. Our history? Perhaps just mine. I stare at him. And there's no hint that he recognizes me. Tell me a little about yourself. He tells me, having had to study abroad for college, that I already know. In fact, I remember it too well. Or not. It's strange how the harsh realities of our time seems a lot more difficult back then. We tried maintaining a long-distance relationship. Then snail mail turned to email. Then the correspondence eventually just stopped. Who sent the last message? Me or him? Probably me. He broke my heart after all, without even the decency of breaking up with me. 4 months of not hearing a word from him, I moved on. He's done. And I just realized I don't remember anything he said. Did he notice I spaced out? Does he recognize me now? As if he's not already. And suddenly I remember. I did not introduce myself before we started. I just jumped right in, straight to interview. If he suspects, by this time, he must be wondering why I've been so quiet. There he goes with his pearly lights. At the corner of his lips. A trifle of a tiny tremble. Am I making him nervous? Good. So, how did you hear about this position? What do you know of the company? Why do you want this job? Yes, I'm back on track. Just doing my job to see if he is fit for the company. And so far, he is perfectly fit. And by fit, I'm not referring to the obvious fact that he does work out, but he's just what the company needs. He can be an asset. But he'll climb ranks, that's for sure. The tremble at the corner of his lips has subsided. He's leaning forward now, fingers interlocked. There's no ring on his finger. Wait, what? There's no ring? So what if there's no ring? That's not what he's applying for. And why should I even bother? This man is so different from the boy I dated in my early college days. He still has that boyish charm. But other than that, what do I know? As a potential employee, he looks more reliable now than I remember back then. What happened to him while he was abroad? Why am I curious? Why should I care about that now? So, why should we hire you? I managed to blurt out. Many years ago, I asked him a question of similar vein. A lot less professional, but mistakes back then meant the world to me. What do you see yourself doing 5 years from now? Give or take a decade ago, this is the question we should have asked each other. But we're living in the now. There's no point going back anymore, right? The interview is almost done, and from a professional standpoint, I think he did well. Good for him. Do you have any questions? I finally ask. Again, I catch that tremble at the corner of his lips. It must have been a great deal to keep flashing those pearly whites for. How long has it been? My mind has been traveling back and forth between past and present. Me this time. It's he who hesitates. He catches breath, as if catching something. Oh, of course. How did he do? I'm honest with him. His resume helped. He was well endorsed and his answers were everything we needed to hear. Of course, I did not say anything about how awkward everything has been. Don't say anything. I won't either. Let's keep things professional. Let's keep things buried. I lead him to the door of my office. The other applicants must have wondered what took so long. We reached for the door, and he leaned to me. Thanks for the chance, he says, shaking my hands. And for a moment there, all his charm disappeared. What was that? I recall he has always been so hard to read. During our time together, he never lashed out at me. Not even a hint of it. Otherwise, I let go of his hand. His firm handshake has his tight-lipped smile. I'm sure he'll be hired. He'll do well. He'll probably date a coworker. Not me, of course, because he'll be far from a different department from mine. Not that it should matter. That's what I tell myself as I watch him leave. I blink. And I call the next applicant.